I spent 3 hours on my live finding the juiciest, most drama-filled Reddit stories for you. Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend my brother-in-law's wedding, calling my husband an incel, caused my dad's wife to cry? And we're gonna decide if they're a-holes or not. So I refused to attend his wedding because he is too fat for me to attend. I then said he needed to stop being an incel himself. My dad was furious and his wife cried. Grab some popcorn and get ready to drop who you think are the a-holes in the comments. Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend my brother-in-law's wedding because he is too fat? I, 27 female, refused to go to my brother-in-law, 31 male's wedding because of an argument that happened 2 months before my wedding. My wedding was my moment. I had everything planned and it was everything I had dreamed of. Well, almost. My brother-in-law is a massive jerk, typical Chad type. He thinks he is famous and he is unbelievably arrogant and unnecessarily mean. So when it came to my wedding, he was a bull who saw red. He texted my husband and begged him not to marry me because I was fat and unhinged. I am a size 12 women's and 5'6". I am by no means fat. We still decided to allow him to come as he was family, and I didn't want to make a bad impression on my in-laws. But on the day of the wedding, he ruined my husband's day with a last-minute message saying he refused to attend. His reason was that I was a food-eating hurricane that was more horizontally challenged than Saturn, to the point that the rings didn't fit. At this point, OP could drop a nuclear warhead on this guy, and I'm probably gonna go with not the a-hole. Now, this didn't ruin my day, as the thought that must have been behind this insult actually makes it hilarious. In my head, I can imagine him writing ideas on paper and scrunching the bad insults up, but it ruined my husband's day, which gave the wedding an off vibe. But now he is getting married, and in that time, he has ironically got obese. He is only just obese, but still clinically defined as obese. So I refuse to attend his wedding because he is too fat for me to attend. He told my in-laws, and now my in-laws are blowing up my husband's phone, telling him that I have to attend because I am being petty and holding a grudge, and that if I don't attend, then they will go no contact with us both. My husband is upset about this and has asked me to go for his sake because it has been 2 years and I should have moved on. Huge red flag that you have to put up with in-laws who are okay with their son calling their other son's wife fat. If I ever called one of my sister's boyfriends or fiancés or husbands fat, my mom would beat my ass at the age of 26. I firmly believe that, and I also firmly believe that I would deserve it. Don't get me wrong. Is it petty to be like, oh yeah, he's too fat for me to attend? Probably petty. Does he deserve it? 100%. Edit, yes, in-laws know what he has said, but they allowed it as it was a bad day. His ex filed for a restraining order. If your son is getting a restraining order from a woman he dated, probably means he's a shitty person. They allowed it, saying he didn't mean it, etc. So we just moved on with our lives. 2, also, I am not fat phobic. Also, not upset about my body. I am now comfortably a size 14, and brother-in-law made many fat comments, so I just find it ironic that it has now been clinically stated that he is obese after being so cruel to me for being fat. 3, he thinks he is famous by having to feel like he is on a red carpet. Needs attention to himself. We have to cater to his needs. Have to have certain things at events, like a certain brand beer, even at kids' parties, a fan when it is hot, and other small things that inconvenience any host. I would hold that grudge, but also give him an award for that incredible insult. The metaphors were there. Was it nice? No. But my God, that was well put. Am I the a-hole for calling my 23 female husband, 23 male, an incel? Some background. I, 23 female, have been with my husband, 23 male, for about 4 years, only about 6 months married. I love him dearly, and he is a very sweet guy. He is pretty conservative. We differ in that regard, and most of his male friends are as well. Back in college a few years ago, my husband and some of his friends started following this conservative male influencer on social media. This man's whole shtick was essentially shaming random men on the internet for simping for their girlfriends/wives. How did he do this? Fans would send him photos of random straight couples, which he would screenshot and draw green lines over, indicating which directions the man and woman in the photo were leaning. If the woman was standing straight up in the photo and her man was leaning in towards her, the influencer would dub the man a simp and post the photo online for everyone to make fun of. The ideal photo, in the influencer's opinion, was one where the man was standing straight up and his woman was leaning into him. Anything else and the man was a simp, he could not control his woman. Yes, this is 100% real. If you don't take that with a grain of salt and you actually believe that's the case, you are a fucking moron. Obviously, I didn't love that my now husband was a fan of this influencer, but he reassured me that it was all a joke and that he didn't actually believe anything that this guy said. I believed him until I started to notice that when we would take pictures together, together, my husband was pulling away from me and attempting to have me lean into him. At first, I brushed it off, but it kept happening. This irritated me because I don't particularly love my side profile, but I was being forced to turn to the side and lean into him in every single photo we were taking. I would try to pull away so that I could face the camera head on, but he would pull me back in and or refuse to move. I confronted him about this a few times, but he always said that he wasn't doing anything. I was making it up. Babe, he's lying and gaslighting. You're married to a narcissist. I brushed this off for a while, and over time as our relationship progressed, we weren't taking as many photos anyways. But this all came to a head when last weekend we were visiting his family for Christmas. My husband was mentioning how him and I don't have enough recent photos together, so his sister offered to take one of us. He posed for the photo, me facing straight ahead with his arm around me, but once again, I noticed he was trying to angle me sideways and pull himself away from me. I got frustrated and stepped away, saying that I no longer wanted the photo. He asked me why, and I told him that he was doing the thing he always did, forcing me to have my side profile photographed while all I wanted was a normal, straight-on photo. I asked him if he could please let me take a photo facing the camera, and his answer shocked me. He said that he didn't like it when I was facing the camera and he was leaning more into me because, and I quote, "our green lines were bad." I am 100% serious. My husband didn't want me to have a flattering photo because he thought that, according to this influencer, it would make him look like a simp. I asked him if he was serious and he said yes. This is where I'm probably the a-hole. I got so frustrated and accused him of prioritizing the opinions of some random incel over those of his own wife. I then said he needed to stop being an incel himself and take one single normal photo with me. He got very angry that I insinuated that he was being an incel and refused to take any photos with me. I later apologized for what I said, but he's been short with me ever since. I know what I said was inappropriate, but I just can't believe he won't take a normal photo with me. This is like battered woman syndrome or something. Women who aren't conservative get with an uber conservative man and allow them absolutely berate them, gaslight them, lie to them. For her to be like, oh, hey, I stood up for myself and just called it what it is. He is being an incel. Somehow I'm the a-hole. And that was inappropriate. No, babe, what's inappropriate is him taking the opinion of some loser on the internet over his own wife. Over what? This is all he doesn't want to do. That's it, bro. If you're that much of a pussy where you can't lean into the person you love because some random fucking idiot on the internet's like, bro, he's such a simp, bro. That is the lowest tier man in the world. If this is a hill that he's dying on, something as stupid as this, it's only gonna get worse from here, babe. I'm sorry you two married. Don't have kids. Wow, after 4 years together, you sure didn't know each other very well before getting married. I definitely know who I feel like he pretended to be. It feels like he switched up on me since we tied the knot. When I was his age, I got radicalized a bit like him, and others said with such a person a respectful relationship is not possible. If you enable him and apologize to him, it will only embolden him. Sorry to say, but he needs a hard lesson if he is ever to want to change. If everything works for him, he has no reason to try to change something in his life, but either way, you can't really force it. In time, I got it out of my head, but it took time. For me, it started with a rejection and realizing how manipulative I was. Then it needs years of loving yourself and being kind to yourself. Do you think it'd be reasonable for me to ask him to get off social media for a little while? It is what he needs, but I don't think it will work if you ask him. Sounds like he is insecure in relationship dynamics or in himself as a man, and this request would probably trigger him extra hard. He would probably see it as you, a woman, dictating a man's life. You are in a tough spot. It is hard to come out of this in a respectful manner. I guess it depends on how much he is willing to actually listen and how much he respects you. Just asking him to stop something he does in his free time, what will you do if he disagrees? In my opinion, your best bet would be to have a good heart-to-heart conversation. But to do this, you have to be very vulnerable yourself and leave any criticism and accusations out of it. This is extremely hard to do if you don't already operate like that, and from the sound of it, you don't. Calling him incel, you are not wrong, but you are also married to him, and this harms the relationship in the long run. But even then, he might not want to change anything in his views. The husband became a simp for the influencer. No, dude, straight up. I say this all the time. These dudes be practically sucking Andrew Tate's dick, but somehow I'm the loser for painting my nails. You guys are ready to slob on that man's knob, and I like to finger girls with painted nails. I don't know, bro. Sounds like I'm winning. Am I the a-hole for the meltdown I had on Christmas Day, which caused my dad's wife to cry? Background starts with my mom dying. I, 17 female, was 11, and my sisters were 16 and 18. Our dad met his second wife a couple years later when I was 13. The expectations for my relationship with her and my sisters was very different. My sisters were expected to be civil, but if they weren't close, it was no big deal. But almost everyone, minus my sisters and minus my mom's family, expected me to see my dad's wife as some sort of second mother or maternal/parental figure. They got married when I was 14. This guy's wife died. He waited 2 years, which don't get me wrong, that's a decent amount of wait, but then married her a year later. My dad's wife wanted me to divide Mother's Day between my sisters and maternal side with her. My sisters were not expected to do the same, but she would say she wanted to celebrate the day with her kid. She signed us up for mother-daughter things. She would get hurt when I didn't want to go and would never ask my sisters. I asked her before why she expected me to do these things with her, but she never invited my sisters. She said she was raising me and wanted to be a mother presence in my life, but they were grown. I told her and my dad on separate occasions that I didn't want or need and wouldn't accept someone else into that kind of figure. I was ignored. I had a small run-in with my sisters when dad was getting married because I said he shouldn't, and they said he should be allowed to move on and mom would want him happy. When I explained what was going on, they realized why I was feeling that way. They tried talking to dad, but it did no good. My dad's side of the family would all make comments that I was lucky to have another mother figure, or how I don't seem to give her the care and consideration she deserves. They would ask why I seem to spend no time with her of my own free will, or why I was never loving toward her. My dad told me I should show her more love and affection, and he told me I made her feel left out when I didn't tell her stuff, or when I made plans with others but not her. I know some people would love to have someone like this in their lives, but I want the same relationship my sisters have with her, but more is expected. So Christmas Day came and everyone was at our house for Christmas minus my mom's family. My dad and his wife gave me a card from my parents, and my sisters got them with dad and his wife. Then when it became time for family photos, we got one with the three of us and dad, but then my grandparents wanted me in the family one with my dad and his wife, but my sisters weren't expected to be in it. I tried to step out and my dad's wife said it wasn't a family photo without their kid. This was the point where I lost it, and I told her I am not her kid. She is not my mother figure, that she is dad's wife just like she is to my sisters, and I want it to be that way. I said I do not love her and hate how they all treat her like she suddenly became a parent to me. My sisters were on my side, but my dad was furious and his wife cried and cried harder as I continued. Am I the a-hole? Absolutely not the a-hole. That decision should only be made by the person who wants to call that person the mother. There would have been way more of an opportunity for that to be the case if they would have just let OP work into the role that they felt comfortable with. I think it is okay to be like, I am your dad's wife, you're not my daughter, but let's do mother-daughter things. And I want you to know that if you're ever looking for a mother figure, if you're looking for a mother figure, key thing, you are looking, not I am looking, I am here for you, and I am willing to be that figure. Like, you can't force them to come to you. If anything, that's gonna make them fight it more. If you're looking for more messy Reddit stories, click the link at the top of the description or the videos popping up on screen right now. The members of our community love these videos, and I'm sure you'll enjoy them too.